Yo, what is going on, Guardians, and welcome back to another Destiny 2 gameplay video. Hey, in this video we're going to be highlighting a weapon that literally no one is using. It's because when it originally started dropping, scout rifles sucked in the meta. And then when they brought it back, they still sucked in the meta. But right now, after that mid-season shakeup we got in the sandbox, some scouts are actually pretty decent. And this one certainly took me by surprise. I remembered I had a solid roll on it, and then I grabbed it out of the vault, and I was shocked to see it perform really well. It actually ended up being a pretty decent dueling weapon, especially on maps like, you know, Altar of Flame, Radiant Cliffs, and Bannerfall. Some of these maps where you have these awkwardly longer lanes that aren't necessarily like Jade Rabbit ranges, but they're long enough that almost every other primary type will be dealing with damage drop-off of some kind if you get into a primary duel there. The scout rifle is called the Vouchsafe, and it originally launched with the arrival of the Dreaming City in the Forsaken DLC, but no one was using scouts back then. It got immediately swallowed up in all of the sniper hype, right? Because we finally got special weapons back on the table, we finally got our sniper rifles back and our fusion rifles, and no one wanted to use a scout rifle, right? And then even when it came down to primary weapon choice, I mean, we had things like Luna's Howl and Not Forgotten floating around at that time. So this particular scout rifle, it basically got the almost like the Titanfall 2 treatment, right? Where it just got released among some of Destiny 2's biggest giants in the PvP sandbox. So it just got swallowed up by all of the competition and it was forgotten. But now the gun is back on the table since Bungie decided to reissue it as a drop in the Dreaming City and in the Shattered Throne dungeon with a revamped perk pool, and I think it's worth trying. You know, for the record, sort of sidebar here, I really like that Bungie is sort of rebreathing life into the dungeon activities by kind of cycling their loot pool a little bit, like with the Shattered Throne, putting some of the Dreaming City guns back into the loot pool and having them not be sunset, giving them a revamped perk pool for the rolls. That was great. I mean, it actually made me want to go back in there and hunt down, you know, another Retold Tale. A lot of people going after that Twilight Oath, sniper rifle, and then obviously this Vouchsafe being in that pool. And now they're talking about the Prophecy dungeon. And this week, when the new season hits, they're repopulating the Prophecy drop pool, right, the loot pool, with these Trials of the Nine weapons. You know, if you remember, if you're a Destiny 2 maybe OG player, you remember when the game launched, we had this activity called Trials of the Nine, and it had its own unique aesthetic and tons of guns, like a full rotation of guns across multiple seasons. So sniper rifles, scout rifles, SMGs, I mean everything is in that perk pool, or that loot pool, every different kind of weapon, except, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think we ever got a Trials fusion rifle. Is that true? I can't think of one off the top of my head. Tell me in the comment section if I'm wrong. And then obviously we had a full armor set there. But the guns are going to be back in the loot pool with the Prophecy, which is great because I think the dungeons are some of the best content in Destiny 2. So having a reason to revisit them, hey, that's a good thing. In fact, just this past week I went back and I solo flawless Prophecy. The season Prophecy came out. Like, I loved Prophecy and I dove right into it, practiced it, and got my solo flawless done. But I never did, I did Shattered Throne, but I never did Pit of Heresy. I mean, I soloed it multiple times, but I never did the solo flaw. So just this last week, I was like, you know what, screw it, I'm going back in there. And we actually, on one day, we got it on our first try. Went in there with my my favorite solo Endgame PvE loadout for Season of the Splicer. And first try, bam, just went through the entire dungeon, start to finish flawlessly, and got Pit of Heresy knocked out. I love the dungeons, they're so fun. So, by the way, if anyone's interested, let me know. I might actually post a video on my solo Endgame PvE loadout for this season, just to kind of cap the season off and be like, this is what I like to use. I don't know if anyone would be interested in that, but it's still going to be a viable loadout next week after the new season rolls over. So it's only going to lose a couple of mods from the artifact, but that's it. But anyways, if anyone's interested, I'd be happy to upload a video and show off that solo flawless pit run, because it showcases that loadout really, really well. Anyways, that was a really long sidebar. I'm freaking sorry. Luckily, the gameplay was still focusing on the gun we're talking about, so it's not lost time, I suppose. But anyways, back to the Vouchsafe. I got pretty lucky with this roll. It dropped when I was doing a casual Shattered Throne run with a friend of mine, and this one has Surplus, Eye of the Storm, right? Both of these perks are exceptional. Eye of the Storm is an incredible dueling perk, and it has been a favorite among PvPers ever since the Austringer farming was a thing back during the Menagerie, right? That was like the S tier perk in that slot that people were chasing, was Rangefinder Eye of the Storm, because of how it affects your primary duels. It's a game changer, right? Surplus is also an S tier perk, offering 3 massive buffs for the price of 1 perk, right? It also rolled with Accurized Rounds, Chambered Compensator, and a Range Masterwork. All in all, this roll yields an incredibly consistent and easy to control smooth as butter scout rifle. Besides having an exceptional roll, another thing that I absolutely love about this scout rifle is the optics. They're very minimalistic, very unobstructive, very clean, and the zoom value is 20, which makes this thing an exceptional dueling weapon, since you're not looking deep into people's souls when you ADS, right? You can still track targets relatively close to you while ADS'd. It's the same zoom value, for reference sake, same zoom value as the Vision of Confluence scout rifle, but without the wide border and the random freaking post in the middle of your sight picture, which I will never understand. That optic is stupid. And it's like the one turnoff for me with that gun. I like the gun, but that stupid post in the middle of your sight picture is freaking dumb. I don't get it. But the Vouchsafe optics, so much cleaner, so much cleaner. The Vouchsafe is a lightweight frame scout, which makes it a little unique in the sandbox. Most popular scout rifles are in other families, like the Trustee being rapid fire frame at 260 RPMs, or the Hung Jury being a precision frame at 180 RPMs. Vouchsafe is in the same family as the Mida multi-tool, but it lands in the energy slot, right? Mine has a very comfortable aim assist value of 78, which doesn't come close to Mida's 100 aim assist, but it does dwarf Trustees and Hung Juries and Vision of Confluences. All around, this weapon just has a really solid, really solid stat values when compared to many of its competitors. If you like scout rifles, I recommend taking the time to work some Shattered Throne runs into your weekly routine, so you can land one of these things and take it for a spin. And who knows, maybe you'll score a solid retold tale in the process. Well, thanks for taking the time to watch this video and support my channel. I hope I will see you guys around this week, because I'll be streaming the new seasonal content at launch on Tuesday. And then I'll be streaming some prophecy runs with none other than the community guy DMG himself on Wednesday, as we hunt down some of the returning Trials of the 9 weapons. So feel free to drop a like on the video, only if you enjoyed it, and feel free to subscribe to the channel to get notified when we upload new videos or go live for some live Destiny content. And you're also welcome to use the member link in the description to become a member on the channel and support me here on YouTube. Thank you so much to all of our members, especially the new ones this week. Friggin' appreciate you. Be warm and well fed, my friends, and I hope to catch you in the Crucible.